a long time ago, a friend of mine asked the question, who would win in a fight, Thanos versus Darkseid?
Now we can find out.
Well, we can listen to Death Battle's opinion on it and find out what they think. Although my friend Clint will say Darkseid. And
I actually don't know anything about Darkseid.
Well, Darkseid is pretty much Superman's ultimate main bad guy enemy, who is just as strong, about more ruthless and more uncaring about life than anyone else out there. For him, it's survival of the fittest and the strongest. That's it. And they've been hyping him up for a while in the DC cinematic universe because his children, Steppenwolf, who was the main villain in Justice League, is one of his disciples, who reveres Darkseid as the strongest in the known universe, in which a lot of people would say Darkseid is the strongest in the known universe, although there have been instances where Superman has kicked his ass. But here's one thing about Darkseid. The reason my friend Clint would say is because Superman is his main hero. That's it. He's just like Darkseid's stronger than Thanos, and I'm like, why is that? It's like Darkseid went toe to toe with Superman, and I'm like, okay, that means nothing.
It actually just reminded me, there was a Fact Fiend video I think they put out yesterday on the DCEU and how it's supposedly just a joke. And they talk about how when they were interviewed, the creators of the DC Extended Universe and stuff say that they don't even use that phrase. That's not a phrase they use. It's just a fan-made-up phrase.
What?
They're then what do you call it? And they're like, we don't. And it's so they don't consider it the DC Extended Universe or anything like that. And
I thought it was DC Expanded Universe.
Or whatever, they don't use that term apparently.
And, I would have just called it the DC,
it was weird.
The DC Universe.
Apparently they just don't consider it a universe or something. And they say that one of the reasons was they don't like it to be compared to MCU. And they were kind of like, why?
Zack Snyder, when he came up with this whole idea, he wanted an expanded universe like what they have with Marvel. It's just it's not as good by a long shot. The only film that's been actually pretty damn good is Wonder Woman. And from what I understand, Aquaman's actually pretty good.
I think the only reason they don't want it to be compared to the MCU is just because it's hard to beat the MCU, especially when you're making not good movies.
Well, good luck not being compared to it. The only thing that you can do is just say, hey, if we get compared to it, whatever. We don't care. That's the only thing you can do. Because if you say, oh, we don't want to be compared, and this and that, guess what people are going to do just to spite you? They're going to compare you just to piss you off. Yep. And you shouldn't say, oh yeah, we're trying to carbon copy Marvel. That's you admitting defeat. That's you admitting, yeah, they win. But instead, what they need to do is just actually concentrate on making good solo outings. Like what they did with Wonder Woman, and from what I'm hearing, what they did with Aquaman. Because Aquaman, from what I understand, is pretty damn good. They say it's a little bit too long because they try and do too much with it. But I'm going to save my full judgment for it whenever I go watch it. But for me, whenever I hear people say, they're just trying to be Marvel, I'm just like, who the hell isn't trying to be Marvel? They've made so much money. Okay, name me a studio that has made so much money off of these films, they bought another rival studio in the modern era. Who's done that? Disney bought Fox. They bought 20th Century Fox.
Disney buys everything.
They do.
Who does that in the modern era?
Disney's eventually going to own everything.
I hope not, but that's what it's looking like.
It's like coming to America this year, the Disney elections.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. That's going to be terrible.
Yeah. It's like, new from Disney, universal health care.
Not going to work. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Not going to work. Okay. Unless you get like an infinitely, like one of those machines, like infinite healthcare machines from Equilibrium, or not Equilibrium, but
at some point
Elysium.
Disney's just going to break off and form its own country and have its own military force and shit.
I could see it. Can you imagine, like, Mickey Mouse tanks, like tanks with Mickey Mouse ears on the top of them? Like, every time they spun around, it's just like, what are those for? They're relay dishes. No, they're not. They're giant mouse ears. Shut up! They're relay dishes.
I mean, if they started making, like, the actual tech that they have and stuff, they'd be pretty fucking unstoppable. Like, sending soldiers in with, like, vibranium shields and lightsabers and shit.
Well, it's too bad they don't exist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's an imaginary steel that doesn't exist.
And Disney actually invents a blaster. The first laser pistol.
Oh, my gosh. There was I don't know if you all have seen it, but there was a film called, I believe, 3 in the Morning. It was one of the first like viral videos on YouTube, and it was these guys going to a basketball court in the middle of the night after getting a package of 3 test lightsabers from a toy company, and the lightsabers worked. They actually worked, and they all had different colors, and they all did their own thing. But then they get hoodwinked by these three females who come up, and they have lightsabers as well, and theirs are all red. And the guys are like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to take our lightsabers?" It's like, we don't want to take your lightsabers. We just don't all want to be the color red. I mean, you all have different colored lightsabers. Why can't we have those? And they're just like, that's a stupid fucking reason for holding one of our friends hostage. And then all of a sudden, one of them's just like, wait a second. And he looks on the bottom, and there's a little dial on the bottom. He turns the dial, and it changes colors. And he's just like, hey, wait, check it out. Look. And then they're able to change their colors. And the girl's just like, do I like this color, or do I like that color? This color, or that color? And the other guy's just like, ha! Perfect. No, wait. Perfect. All right. No, I liked it the other way. They couldn't make up their minds, and it was actually pretty damn funny. And then there was a sequel.
Reminds me of another video that I've actually seen. It was just a badass YouTube fan-made lightsaber fight between a bunch of dudes. And I remember they did some stuff with it that I kind of wondered why Star Wars had never tried before. And one of the things was like at the end, this guy the winner of the battle turns around to leave, and there's another guy just standing there holding his lightsaber like this, and he just turns it on, and it goes through his stomach and turns it back off. He just goes and stabs the guy.
Yeah.
Just flips it and puts it away and walks away, and he's like. But it was a really badass like choreographed fight and stuff. It was real nice.
Yeah. There you go. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this was an interlude that went nowhere.
Yeah, that was random.
But yeah,
we have a video to watch.
I thought you were about to end the video.
Say what?
I said I thought you were about to end the video. I'm like, we didn't even watch it.
No, not that. I'm not that bad. Actually, I have done that before. I remember it was Ben and Elaine actually said something at the exact same time.
Yeah.
They were like, C+. And they both looked at each other, and Ben goes, "Good night, everybody." And I actually faded the video out and brought the video back, and like, no, we're not ending it there.
Oh, you did that again, like later on when I made some sort of joke.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably have. Yeah, I forget. We've done so many videos. So, anywho, we have Thanos versus Darkseid death battle here. Let's get it on screen, and let's see who wins. Damn it. On screen. There we go.
Hey guys, before we get started, I want to tell you about 23andMe, which is a DNA testing service that's named after the 23.
Done it.
% off any number 23 /
Isn't that shit like super expensive?
Not really.
Power. Some spend entire lives in search of it, while for others, it is their birthright. But what truly matters in the end is how it's used.
Like with Thanos, the ultimate villain of the Avengers.
And Darkseid, arch nemesis to the Justice League.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Over 1 million years ago, when mankind's evolution first broke away from the apes, the cosmic celestials arrived on Earth. They experimented on the human race, creating 3 separate variants. The powerful and beautiful Eternals, destined for immortality. Those with a latent mutated gene, which would one day spawn the X-Men. And a deformed, disturbing subspecies known as the Deviants.
Like that one website with all the porn.
What?
Anyway, the Eternals eventually colonized the moons of Saturn thanks to this science wizard named Mentor, whose collar's like the lampshade I put on my dog to make him stop licking his junk.
Sure. While the Eternals seemed like a perfect people, Mentor's own son would change this forever and force the cosmos to its knees. His name was Thanos.
You were a fool to betray me, Ronan. Prepare to meet your doom.
Thanos was born into a life of luxury. Sure, his mom went totally insane and tried to kill him right away, but what do you think you'd do if you popped out a creepy California raisin baby?
It seems the Celestials' experiments weren't quite so different from each other. Despite his eternal heritage, Thanos' large, disproportionate body and thick purple skin were thanks to a deviant mutation.
Which you'd think would mean everyone would hate him, but nope, the Eternals were super progressive and totally cool with a wrinkly grimace walking around.
In fact, Thanos was greatly admired for his exceptional intelligence and creativity. He was set for a positive and decorated future.
Until he threw it all away for a girl. Hey, I don't blame
What
him.
else is
Lots of
new?
guys do crazy shit for hot chicks, especially when you're a secret murder-happy psycho who's obsessed with the physical manifestation of death.
To earn Death's reciprocal love, Thanos took a journey, a quest, to ravage the universe in her name.
And as an Eternal, he had plenty of superhuman power to do it. He was already the strongest and fastest Eternal around, but he boosted his power even more with bionic and magic enhancements.
And while his physical and psionic abilities are impressive, his incredible genius led to building massive spaceships, shields that can withstand planet-level attacks, and even a time window.
And the most badass throne ever. It comes packed with its own laser weapons, light speed travel, and it can teleport through space and time.
And unlike most Eternals, Thanos has also dabbled in the mystic arts. Petrification, curses, even some of his throne's abilities seem to be more magic than hard science. All of this potential makes Thanos an incredibly dangerous foe.
Yeah, good luck trying to hurt him. He can survive pretty much anything, including a gun specifically designed to kill him. He even shot himself in the face with it just to prove how goddamn awesome he is. Don't try that at home, kids.
He's strong enough to
Fight
overpower
Club.
2 Thors at once, snap a universal weapon known for its extreme durability, and even lift the gargantuan Galactus engine.
A giant super rocket big enough to move planets. According to Mr. Fantastic, and that guy knows his stuff, this thing is hundreds of miles long.
While the Galactus engine's size seems to vary from comic to comic, Reed's assertion matches its appearance when it propelled Ego the Living Planet. By examining the engine in 3 separate parts, applying the density of steel, and comparing Ego's diameter of 4,165 miles, we've found that Thanos must be lifting about 50 quintillion tons. That's like holding up 140 trillion Empire State Buildings.
And he's doing this inside the gut of a living Kurt Russell planet that eats other planets and even stars. Man, I thought I had an iron stomach.
But destroying a star isn't a simple thing. Any energy directed toward a star would just be absorbed and adapted to. Only by completely nullifying a star's constant energy output can it be eliminated.
So Ego's stomach acid must be deadlier than frigging supernovas or a black hole. He'd probably love Mama Boomstick's world-famous ghost pepper pie. It's fine, just dip it in some squirrel paste.
Surviving the stomach of Ego
Squirrel
isn't so
paste.
far-fetched for Thanos, considering he's also survived a dip in a black hole, extreme reality warping across the metaverse, and the voice of Black Bolt.
What's so special about this guy, you ask? Well, with just a whisper, he obliterated 1 billion tons of rock. This guy can easily break a planet with just one shout, and Thanos took 3 of them to the face.
Although Thanos isn't known for being a speedster character, he's still quick enough to battle the likes of Silver Surfer, a being who can cover 500,000 light years in just a couple of seconds, putting him over 3 trillion times faster than light. With so many impressive showings, it's hard to truly find a weakness.
Except for one.
Oh, god damn it.
Thank you. glad to be here. It's me, Deadpool, slayer of Deathstrokes, befriender of ponies, and breaker of mad titan hearts. And like Casanova, the ravenous reaper can't get enough of me, and Thanos just hates that. Ooh.
Well, Thanos did curse him so he couldn't die and be with her.
I know, right? He's a big purple crybaby. Have you seen that chin, though? It's like he got hit in the face with a slap chop.
Don't you have like a party in Ponytown to be at?
Ah, come on, buddy. You can't have a death battle season without Deadpool, right?
We did. The last one.
Nobody counts that one. I mean, that's the year you pit a dog in a trench coat against a goddamn bear. What did you think would happen?
Yeah.
Whatever. I know when I'm not wanted. See you next year. DP out.
Oh, good riddance.
Even with all of these powers and abilities, Thanos still felt he needed something more to impress Death. Think he's compensating for something, Wiz?
Oh, absolutely. So he built the Infinity Gauntlet, a golden glove which harnessed the power of 6 multicolored gems, known as Infinity Stones. With these, he could control the full spectrum of space, reality, mind, power, soul, and time.
And with those powers combined, he summons Captain Planet.
Well, more like the destruction of half the universe, but sure, whatever.
Steve?
Bye, Bucky.
Same difference. But wait,
put him
the
in-
Time Stone the
put
green
him in a
one in
dustbin,
Doctor
he'll be
Strange's
fine.
necklace?
Well, in the movie universe, the Time Stone is green, but in the original comic series, it's orange. This is because every universe has its own unique Infinity Gauntlet that works exclusively there. And sometimes the stones are different in color. Here, just follow this handy diagram I made.
Yeah, don't care. So with all the stones, he wiped out half the universe with only a snap of his fingers. But he also started going a bit crazy and began to doubt his ability to perform. Hey, happens to the best of us.
Yet it never keeps the Mad Titan at bay for long, whose constant lust for power and godly status in the universe is only matched by his drive to just kill everybody.
Dread it, run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am here. I am.
10 billion years ago, the primeval old gods clashed in a cosmic civil war called Ragnarok.
That the one with Thor and Jeff Goldblum?
No. Yes, kind of. The battle was so great that the result was an explosion that tore the gods asunder, sending a great god wave throughout the metaverse, eventually birthing a new generation known as the New Gods.
How original! Well, some of these include Alpine Space Skier, Fancy Pants Shakespeare, and this cyborg spider Humpty Dumpty. Half of these guys ended up on a beautiful paradise world called New Genesis, while the rest got stuck on an actual fireball called Apocalypse. With a K.
Among these damned souls was Prince Euxis, second in line to the throne behind his older brother Drax.
No.
Not Dave Bautista Drax, but DC Drax.
Yes.
Aw, man, I really like that guy. He's not afraid to say what he's thinking.
You are horrifying to look at, yes.
To rule Apocalypse, Drax was meant to enter the mysterious Omega Pit and absorb the Omega Effect, a force of destructive entropy bound within Apocalypse.
But being the crafty bastard he was, Euxis tricked DC Drax into getting killed and stole the loot for himself.
And so the Omega Effect transformed Euxis into the physical manifestation of tyranny, Darkseid.
Yep.
Now what? Now you die.
As the king of Apocalypse, Darkseid entered a war on the universe. Whether he was kicking New Genesis' ass or giving the Man of Steel a hard time, Darkseid was always working toward his one goal, conquering all life.
And thanks to his new god physiology, he has incredible superhuman
sitting in
strength,
other
speed,
people's
agility,
chairs.
and even immortality.
After Christmas,
He's
Santa
already
gives him
over
all the coal.
245,000 years old, and that's given him plenty of time to push the limits of the Omega Effect.
He's got a whole bunch of cool Omega powers that break all the rules of nature. He can teleport across time and space, fly at unthinkable speeds, warp reality around him, and grow supersized.
Something he's pretty used to doing. The scale between the Prime Universe and Darkseid's own universe, the Fourth World, is vast. He travels between universes via boom tubes, which automatically adjusts his size to what is considered normal within his destination. Otherwise, he'd have a hard time fitting in, given that the normal size of a new god is about the size of a star.
Oh yeah, I've had that kind of trouble with my boomstick tube.
He can use various psionic powers like telekinesis and telepathy, and can easily manipulate sentient beings thanks to a cosmic awareness of the multiverse powered by 18 divine senses.
You know, I bet he never forgets where he leaves his keys.
Like a space-age necromancer, Darkseid can possess living or deceased beings, controlling them like puppets. He can even control basic inanimate objects, just like the Nomad of Nowhere.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, that's
Wiz,
one of that new
never
Rooster
thought
Teeth
I'd
shows.
say this, but I might have had too much to drink.
But Darkseid's deadliest technique is his signature Omega Beams. These
Yeah.
burning lasers of hatred are capable of instant sharp turns and tracking multiple targets at once.
They're splitting up. They can do that?
They're locked on us.
On contact, the beams can either disintegrate their target, transmute matter, erase beings from existence, or trap enemies in the Omega
Turpin, I
Sanction.
remember that.
The Omega Sanction is a sort of life trap. Its target enters a self-contained reality where they live out an infinite number of lives for eternity.
Oh, that doesn't sound so bad. I'd just do a Bill Murray and use all those lives to learn piano or save a dog or... Yeah, that's probably about it.
Well, there's a catch. Each life in the Sanction gets progressively worse as it goes, including how you die. When the third Mr. Miracle was trapped in it, he was fairly unaware, until he was beaten, burned, mutilated, and castrated, broken to a point of intentionally overdosing. And that was just his first life in the Sanction.
Oh. No thanks. I'm good.
To overpower the multiverse, Darkseid would face some pretty steep competition. However, his power eclipses those of even some of the strongest heroes around.
He's fast enough to take a trip to the Source Wall in just a few seconds. That's at the very edge of existence. So, like, you're not gonna be able to map quest that shit.
The edge of the observable universe is about 45 billion light years away, and scientists hypothesize the actual scale is over 100 sextillion times greater. It took a whole year for the legendary Helm of Nabu to make this journey. But for Darkseid, all of 5 seconds. To pull this off, he'd have to be moving over 87 duodecillion times the speed of light.
Which is totally a real
That's a made-up number.
I understand. But if
I'm
he's
joking.
super big
I know
in
it's
Fourth
not.
World, wouldn't he have an easier time getting to the edge?
We're factoring the scaling across his universe as a whole. Besides, technically the Fourth World is 4 billion years older than our own universe, so the distance to the edge is probably even further.
He's so quick, he can choke out Superman before he even sees him move, or knock him out cold in just a few bitch slaps. And Superman can survive supernovas to the face. Also, since Darkseid wasn't affected by the Crisis Mega Reboot, it's still canon that he can blitz pre-Crisis soups, who can sneeze solar systems away.
Darkseid is strong enough to crush a lantern ring with ease, destroy planets with his Omega Beams, and wipe out the Justice League with a single strike. Even with all this power, Darkseid believed he could not dominate the universe until he discovered his ultimate prize, the anti-life equation.
Ha! I knew numbers were bad for you. Take that, Miss Jensen, and your stupid ruler.
The anti-life is technically an entity of its own, a fragmented piece of the source from which all life originates. However, Darkseid discovered a formula which essentially manipulates the anti-life's presence in all living things, in a manner which definitively proves that all freedom and hope are meaningless efforts.
So it's math that just makes you sad.
Yes. And a slave to Darkseid, but yes. So the anti-life is pretty weird, but you know what's even more so? The Darkseid that you think you know isn't actually Darkseid.
Say what now?
He became the very essence of tyranny itself. This non-corporeal god rests in the higher plane of Fourth World and molds avatars of his consciousness to interact with the multiverse around him. While each avatar is weaker than his true self, it's a necessary handicap, as his own existence in a universe other than Fourth World would shatter the laws of reality, ending time and space as we know it. The sheer power of the Omega Effect threatens entire cosmos, similar to how its equal, the Astroforce, could counter an Oblivion bomb, capable of annihilating the universe in a single blast.
Holy shit! His avatar may lose some power, but it's still tough enough to survive a bomb Lex Luthor designed to rip apart existence, and a shot from Marvelous Marno's Master Blaster, which sounds like it was made up by a circus clown. And that kind of makes sense because apparently no life form can stand up to it. Just like clowns.
Except for Darkseid.
Well, Darkseid isn't immune to all guns. All you need is a neat little Radion bullet.
Think of Radion as the new god's kryptonite. Despite all his power, Darkseid is far from invincible. He's had his heart ripped out, his soul stolen by death, and his essence shattered by Superman, singing.
Hey, Darkseid, look at this photograph!
To this day, even after so many cataclysmic events, the Lord of Apocalypse continues his mission. Every living being in the multiverse will bend to the will of Darkseid.
It seems I have you to thank for my resurrection. Though your world will suffer slowly, I grant you a quick death.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this
Okay.
debate once and for all.
But first, I need something that can sate my godly hunger.
We're in.
All right. Blue Apron. Congratulations. Da 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 da. Oh, there it is. Okay, so who you got? Lost within the sounds of silence.
Essentially, the dude is so fucking fast, Darkseid,
Yeah.
that I feel like he could stop Thanos from even being able to snap.
Probably.
I feel like Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet is the only reason he would actually be able to defeat Darkseid, because Darkseid seems overpowered as all goddamn shit.
Well, that's what I said. He's the my buddy Clint said Darkseid all day because of he was able to stand up to Superman, and it's like a lot of cases he's been able to beat Superman. I mean, he's beaten Superman several times.
Yeah. See, Thanos is pretty fucking powerful, but it's like from the things they were saying, it's like my brain didn't picture Thanos as even being close to what they were talking about with Darkseid. So I think I'd have to go with Darkseid myself.
Fair enough. What about you, Kyra?
Yeah, I guess Darkseid. I was thinking Thanos for a bit because, like they said, that Darkseid has had his heart ripped out, his soul stolen, and stuff like that before, and Thanos is pretty much physically invincible, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, I guess Darkseid.
Well,
my other thing is that technically Thanos has been the first massively major antagonist in the MCU. Darkseid seems more like he's like a final fucking boss type dude.
he is.
So I think that it's like putting like a tier 3 final villain against like a tier 1 final villain.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Maybe, I don't know.
Like, probably 3 would be the number of tiers that you could do with a universe like that before it just starts to get just completely absurd.
Well, welcome to the DC Universe pre-crisis.
This is already borderline absurd. But
Yeah.
anyways.
It is.
Darkseid, I guess.
All right, so we've
We'll
got.
see if I go 3 for 3 on these. That is 3 we've done now, right?
Yes, it's
With
3
me-
we've done now.
with me here.
And me, I'm just for posterity, I'm going to pick Thanos because I don't know. I think maybe he'll pull it off. But let's see.
As Thanos. So.
Let's see. I did cosplay as Thanos.
Yep.
That was fun.
Fly, you can teleport, it'll send you through time and space, and it's perfect for gaming. You follow me? Sure you do. You're a forward-thinking guy.
At last, there it is.
Hey, Thanos! Buddy! How are you doing? Rocking that chin, as always.
Get off my throne and kneel. Face death at the hand of your new emperor.
You know not the infinite wealth of destruction I command.
Supreme Emperor, I'm galactic, swiping away your tactics, crushing you under my feet. But has it nothing to me? Turn to dust. Let's punch it and feel let's go with it. I change reality when I think to the brink. So long it all I'm the king of the universe now.
Dare strike you.
Put a stop to
Beg
you now.
for the sweet release of gas. You first.
Battle for the universe, let's get striking.
feel like if this would be an actual like fighting game style thing, I feel like neither of their health meters have actually moved yet.
Nope, not yet. Oh, here we go. Well, there goes HBO. Uh-oh. When all else fails, throw a planet at him. Whee! Oof.
I am Thanos. Thanos is supreme. Thanos is God.
Oh, that's not going to be enough. Keep in mind, he has survived a black hole before. That's right. Oh, we're going galactic on this scale right here. And the winner is
These games bore me, but this will bring a smile to my face.
It'll have to wait.
Coward! Who are you? Who are you?
I'll show you.
bring him up to the fourth dimension.
This is who I am.
Doesn't affect anything here. It's the fourth dimension.
You have no power
I am Thanos. I am all things. This is who I am.
Oh God.
Oh my God! It's Deadpool with a gun!
Be whole in endless death.
So you watching any anime?
Oh, man.
Damn.
That's the worst way he could have gone out. Because now he's going to be dying over and over and over.
Thanos was an incredible foe, especially while wielding the Infinity Gauntlet. Unfortunately, the gauntlet had a fatal flaw.
Yeah, that golden glove only works in its own universe, and Darkseid could easily move the fight to new ones with his boomstick tubes. Universe hopping is kind of his thing.
The Reed Richards of the Interdimensional Council of Reeds figured this out. Its 3 founding members, Reed, Reed, and Reed, each possessed Infinity Gauntlets, but discovered that they couldn't work outside of their own universe.
Actually, I think it'd been funny if it was Reed, 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 and Steve. Or like a weird alien name, like Reed, Reed, and Parthenax.
Like
the Gauntlet had no
Yeah.
problem making Darkseid's avatar not feel so good. But since Darkseid's true form was always in the
That's
Fourth World
good.
universe,
That's
Thanos
good.
couldn't actually finish him off with the Gauntlet.
Even if this fight took place in entirely neutral territory, the victor wouldn't change. Thanos' gauntlet wouldn't work, and true Darkseid's presence would actually just destroy everything just by being there.
But he didn't just lose because of the Gauntlet. He really couldn't keep up with the Space Golem.
Even going toe-to-toe with a being as fast as Silver Surfer was nothing compared to when Darkseid took a trip to the edge of existence. This puts Darkseid almost 28 octillion times faster than Thanos.
And his Omega effect scales to the Astro Force, which could equal the Oblivion Bomb's universe-destroying blast. This means the Omega effect and Infinity Gauntlet were both pretty even in terms of destructive ability. But unlike Thanos, Darkseid can use his Omega powers whenever and wherever he wants.
Once he lost the gauntlet, Thanos could certainly survive star-level attacks, and even greater. But universal destruction is definitely a bit more than his purple Eternal Hide could handle. And even after that, Darkseid had plenty of ways to end the fight whenever he wanted, like the Omega Sanction.
Thanos was super powerful, but Darkseid was just faster, stronger, and even more ruthless.
And if you think about it, Thanos needed the Infinity Gauntlet to become a god, but Darkseid already was one.
Thanos just couldn't
Run the gauntlet!
Oh, you son of a bitch!
The winner is Darkseid.
Of course.
Hey,
Okay, so
Yeah, it just kind of backed up, like, seeing the fight and everything. What I was saying about it seems like he's like a tier 3 villain, like a final villain,
well,
as compared to like a first, like, tier final villain, you know?
that's the part. You see, and a lot of people say that's the problem with DC is that, well, okay, it's the problem with once you get to a certain point in comic books, it gets to like ridiculousness to the point where people are just like, okay, what the hell? And me, I'm more than happy to just sit and watch, I'm more than happy to read the story if I find it interesting. It's just at a certain point, I think even readers are just like, okay, what the hell are you doing? And
it's like Dragon Ball Z. Like, it's gotten to the point now where like most of the villains in Dragon Ball Z could just like sneeze at a planet and blow it up.
Yeah,
and yet they like spend like, a whole fucking season fighting like Goku and crew instead of just blowing their planet up. As soon
yeah,
as
it's
they
like,
get there.
oh shit, they can't breathe without a planet. Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I would say that's why you see all these constant reboots in comics. Like you saw the Infinite Crisis.
Because once it gets to a certain point, it's like, how do you go more epic than that? It's like you've reached the limit. Like,
there's the new 52 and the Marvel
reset.
or in the DC Rebirth are the two most recent ones who have sort of retconned and restarted a lot of the main storylines. And then in Marvel it was the House of M. The House of M is what actually it actually took the number of mutants down to like 1% of their former numbers. And then of course there was also the event that killed off the Ultimates universe, which was shock factor supreme. I mean, everyone was dying. I mean holy shit. The Blob ate the Wasp, and then Ant-Man grew supersized, picked up the Blob, squeezed him until his head was about to pop, and then bit his head off. And I was just like, Jesus. And then, of course, you had Ant-Man try and go out and help somebody in the middle of the ocean, and then I forget who it was, but they had all these suicide packs strapped on them, and they exploded and killed Ant-Man. and then you had Magneto pretty much rip Wolverine, or pretty much decimate Wolverine into almost nothing by him using Cyclops' using Cyclops' blaster. They actually he did something with Cyclops' blaster that actually turned his head towards Wolverine, and he blasted Wolverine out of existence. And then the same thing happened to Magneto. Magneto was under the influence of something, and then Cyclops was just like, "Don't you remember? You killed him." And then he activates his beam and just blows Magneto out of existence. And then Scott Summers, Cyclops, he's giving a speech about the future of humanity and mutant kind, and then he gets shot in the head and killed by Quicksilver, and I'm just like, Jesus. Could the ridiculousness get any worse? And then one more day happened. That was a whole thing. So, Thanos versus Darkseid. I expected Darkseid to win, but I still went with Thanos because why the hell not, you know? I figured, what the hell? Because I'm not trying to win all of these, even though you're undefeated right now at 4-0.
Was it 4 or 3?
You're 4, or... No, that's 3-0, sorry. 3-0, sorry.
Because I only remember before this Sonic versus Mario and... What was the other one even?
I forget.
There was another one. But...
So, what do you all... So, Kyra, what did you think about the battle? Did it go about it how you expected?
Yeah, it ended about how I expected. I'm like, because they mentioned how, like, Darkseid is...
Darkseid's like a fourth dimensional being.
Yeah. And, like, everything else is however small compared to him. And he ends up the size of whatever is considered normal for whatever universe he's in. Then he goes, and then he did that. I was like, yeah, he's probably going to end it like that because he's way bigger than Thanos and he can easily kill him like that.
And then he just drags him to his dimension. Is just like, you have no power here.
Yeah.
Check this out.
Which is the more brutal death? Like being erased from existence or being captured in a existence of infinite, increasingly horrible deaths?
I'd say the infinite, increasingly horrible deaths because whilst, the whole theory about the multiverse, about how about all of our, all of our existences exist on top of one another and, based upon our choices that we take, our lives can go one way or can go the other. And my whole thinking about that is just, in one universe, Nathan Hamilton died of cancer because of a stupid thing that he did, or he died in a car accident, something like that. Versus in this universe, he's a fat loser who sits on a couch and watches videos for a living. Self-deprecating humor. And then of course there's the thought of whereas we have no control over how the multiverse treats our other selves, in that one, it's just going to progressively get worse and worse and worse until you eventually reach your ultimate bad death and just relive that for eternity. It's just like, holy shit. And I couldn't imagine doing that over and over and over again. And imagine Thanos, the one that they showed with Deadpool making out with Lady Death, and then all of a sudden here comes Thanos. He's like, oh, Deadpool with a gun. Kills him. And that's his worst death, and he is now going to relive that over and over and over again. And I'm just like, holy shit. That's crazy to me. But you know what? Honestly, I would choose snap of the fingers and gone versus having to relive that over and over again.
Yeah. Having to relive any death would be
unless that death was buried under a pile of the most beautiful women in the world and you go out experiencing the ultimate body high. But other than that, I'd say, yeah, getting hit while crossing the road, wouldn't want to relive that. Getting shot in the head while out on a hunting trip, wouldn't want to relive that. Getting gored by a bull elk in Alaska, wouldn't want to relive that. Getting mauled by a bear like that one dude in Grizzly Man, wouldn't want to relive that. Whew, that was.
And that's not even like the worst ones you can think of.
Getting burned alive,
Oh.
drowning at the bottom of the ocean,
Being mauled by a shark.
being buried alive. Phew. I mean,
being dropped in a vat of slow acid.
oh,
Acting acid.
low corrosive.
Yeah.
So it melts you slow?
One that melts you over about 10 minutes or so.
Oh, like battery acid.
Yeah.
Fudge sickles.
Let's see. I feel like just dying in the vacuum of space with no spacesuit would be pretty fucked.
Oh yeah, that would. Well, yeah, that'd be
Especially
messed
from
up.
like the Event Horizon actual finally like showing it as brutal as it would be.
Yeah.
So he doesn't actually die from it. Like they managed to actually save him, but he gets fucked up because of it, just from being in a vacuum for like 30 seconds.
Well, yeah. I mean, your brain cells pretty much start to die. Your body goes into panic mode and starts like pretty much producing all the stuff pretty much in preparation for you to die. All of that, and your brain, and you pretty much almost experience brain death because of it.
Well, it's like, not to mention just all the physical things that happen to you.
Well,
you begin to freeze. You begin to, like, basically your eyeballs push themselves out if you don't close your eyes.
During what?
If you're in the vacuum of space.
That's actually not proven to be true. Explosive decompression and stuff like that. It depends on the pressurization, because the pressurization in from you living at the bottom of the ocean for an X amount of time and your body adapting to the pressurization down there, to like if you just got out of a submarine and all of a sudden you did that, your eyes would literally pop out of your head because your body would not be able to acclimate to the pressure.
Well, if you got out of a submarine, you would be crushed.
No. Like went to the surface. If you lived at the bottom of the ocean for like
went back
a
to
year,
the surface and then got out,
and you go back to the surface and you get out, your eyes would pop out of your head. Yeah. And then there was also
I don't know that, because it's just like the pressure that we normally exert outwards to keep from being crushed by just the pressure, and
of
that
gravity.
pressure just being absent in space. I feel like it's definitely possible that it would have effects sort of like that.
Well, yeah. Well, in zero gravity, which is in the vacuum of space, when you have zero gravity, your bones and muscles start to atrophy.
Yeah, that's
like if you're not under that constant, pressure of Earth. Yeah. They've said that human beings, they actually have ways to increase the gravitational pull in certain training events to like give you 1.1 times gravity. And you train in that, almost like how they do in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Where they do the
hyperbolic time chamber and shit.
Well, kind of, except instead of it being like just one continuous room, it's actually like a tube that's on a roller, and what happens is there's a turbine that spins around on the outside, and the added gravitational pull that it puts on is effectively like an additional 10% of gravity. And while you're in there, you actually can like work out and all that, and then you step outside of it, and it's just like, oh my gosh, all this weight's removed off of me.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about that, how that works.
Kind of like weighted training stuff too, I guess.
Yeah, kind of. Except instead, it's your natural body instead of you putting on fake weight.
It's how you can achieve true Super Saiyan.
Carrot cake.
Carrot cake. He didn't invite me to his birthday party.
What are you, gay? No, I am Super Salad Sandwich.
And anybody who's not seen that video is just like, what the fuck?
Dragon's Balls PP.
Yeah. You should look that up. It's funny.
That is funny. It's really good. Okay. So, anywho, we're going to end it here, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you have enjoyed what you've seen here. Until next time, signing off, I'm Nate.
I'm Nick.
I'm Kyra.
This was the Death Battle, Thanos vs. Darkseid. A link to the original videos in the description. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.